As a hotel owner, I would like to take a few minutes just to speak about the litigation, the bankruptcy, and all of the associated costs that my fear is many people are not really considering. They don't realize that at the end of the day, all of the expenses are being passed back to the unit owners. In the bankruptcy, for example, the phase one legal costs alone are over $200,000. I think it was somewhere around $238,000. This is what is being paid to the bankruptcy attorney for his phase one billing. And when you look at the original petition, the actual bills that the bankruptcy was trying to avoid, exclusive of the hotel unit owner, was only $100,000. So who's going to pay double or triple in legal fees just to avoid paying uh, the original bills, which could have been negotiated down, at least in my opinion? And there was no effort to even reach out to the creditors to try and make a deal. Me, as the hotel owner, I'm willing, always been willing to make a deal with the association. I published something on the YouTube, which the attorney for the bankruptcy perceived it as a plan, which it was not. But I respect his position, and he forced me to take it down and remove any reference to what is a real simple way to get out of and to solve bankruptcy. At least in my opinion, and at least as it applies to the HU and the debt that's reported to be owed between the HU and the association and vice versa, the association. But at the end of the day, what I think gets me upset more than anything is the cost. Like a divorce, if anyone's ever been through a divorce, a common comment or what most people believe about a divorce, nobody really makes out. The husband, the wife, the only people that make out are the lawyers. And believe me, I think this is certainly the case here at the 60/60, because at the end of the day, I respect everybody's right to dispute a charge. I dispute charges all the time in my life, but I do pay my bills. But what's happening here at the 60/60 is we have a group of people that, according to Velez and documents, they went on a rent strike. Well, you don't pay rent here, I'm sorry to inform you. You pay fees. You pay fees that you're required to pay by law, and fees you agreed to pay upon acceptance of your ownership deed. Sadly, we have a bunch of owners that have what's known in the industry as buyer's remorse. They either bought their unit and they didn't read the condo documents, or they read them and never believed the documents applied to them. Because as we sit here today, the debt to the hotel unit owner is $9.4 million. The buyer that Velez and Lieberman had walked, and it's funny that Lieberman would like to blame the Shecker Group for this buyer walking, but maybe the buyer is just intelligent enough, savvy enough of an investor, that after they did the inspection of the building, they realized this building is not what they were told it was. Especially, comments were made that, oh my God, the owners think you're renting their units out and keeping all the money, when the pictures showed and the inspection showed these units are not even habitable. The units that are not on the hotel program right now and are not earning revenue to help support the building, they had their electric breakers terminated. There's no electric in these rooms. The condition of the room is worse than horrific. It's not habitable. There's 100 degrees temperature. There's mold and mildew, toxic mold growing in these units. And the owners sit back, pay nothing. They claim to dispute a bill, yet they have not raised one legitimate example of what they dispute. They just pay nothing. And this is ridiculous. Do you stop paying your car payment because your car has a flat? You certainly don't. And nor can you stop paying your HU fees simply because no reason, really. They have no reason. They justify their being deadbeats by definition by a whole bunch of allegations against the Shecker Group, which the facts do not support. They receive what the lawyers call, I think it's a Rule 120 or some kind of rule letter that basically says if you don't withdraw these allegations, which are not supported by facts, you're going to be held liable. There'll be sanctions filed against you, which means you're going to not only lose your unit in foreclosure, you are going to pay sanctions for all the unfounded allegations being thrown at the Shecker Group. At the end of the day, what people need to realize is this: those same condominium documents make you personally liable for the debt of your unit. So whether you pay or not, if you lose your unit in foreclosure, and if there's a deficit, you are required to pay that personally. This means your personal bank accounts can be frozen, your personal assets can be taken away, and your life can become miserable almost overnight. And I'm not sure this is a fact that Velez has told anybody. I'm not sure if this is a fact that any of the attorneys have advised their clients. That maybe, just maybe, it's, again, you can dispute whatever you want to dispute, but you have to pay. You have to pay your monthly maintenance fees. Dispute it, and if you're right, you'll be credited. If not, you just have to pay what you have to pay. At the end of the day, the other thing that was brought out in court the other day is simply this: Shecker Group does not make one single penny, not a dime, on any of the fees that you pay to the shared components. Every dollar, every dime, every penny that you pay goes to pay the operational cost of the building. It's really that simple. If you paid too much and there's extra, it comes back to you. Comes back to you in the form of a lower budget next year, or a refund based upon the same percentage formula that you paid in, or a combination of the two. But at the end of the day, Shecker gets nothing. He only is required to fund the operations of the building, and that is the shared components and the operation of the building, which includes management, it includes accounting, it includes legal, it includes the mechanical and operational contracts, it includes the gas, water, electric, insurance, and the list goes on and on. One of the biggest items is payroll, and nobody's paying. The APO loan has funded what operational costs are required at the absolute minimum to keep our building open. So people, you can choose not to pay. Foreclosure is just around the corner. Trials are set. You're going to go to a very expensive trial that if you lose, which I believe you will, you're then going to be held personally liable. And then you are going to find out what happens when attorneys and collectors come after you, freeze your personal bank accounts, and start collecting what you owe. It's a lot easier to make a deal. It's a lot easier to pay what you owe. If you dispute something, like I said, I respect it. Come in like other people did. You sit down and you go over the disputed items. What you're doing is a clear path to financial destruction. It's a clear path to accumulating extra charges that could have easily been avoided. So I don't know where you're going, but I am frustrated. It's been a year that we've been in bankruptcy, or coming up to a year, and it's time this ends. It's madness. I don't know why you would support Velez and her board of directors, but in the end, your support is going to be wasted because you're going to come out big losers. And I don't think I'm wrong on this. So as the hotel unit owner, I'm telling you, it would be wise to have your attorneys contact the attorney for the hotel unit owner and see what deal can be made. Because once we go to trial, It's all over. The fat lady is about to get on stage. She's about to sing. And my bet is you're not going to like the tune she's singing.